私に気づかないなんて。毎晩毎晩変な夢のせいで深刻な寝不足だわ。遅刻。あいたた。
おい、大丈夫か？どこも怪我はないようだな。ちゃんと前を見てないと危ないぜ。
すみません。
おや、君は。
いけない。朝礼始まっちゃう。
似ているのは。お、彼女が落としたのか。生徒手帳だ。1年冬坂伊織。
Hello everybody and welcome to a second video today. I did say that I was in for a busy day. I've still got a stream to come later on today, so yes, a lot of YouTube contents that I am creating. But this one is a very special game. This is 13 Sentinels, which is the latest Vanillaware game. It has been long delayed. We've known about this game for what feels like years now. It may well actually be years, and it kept being delayed over and over and over again. But it is now imminent. It's not out just yet. This is a preview stage video that I'm doing. I'm only allowed to look at the prologue section of the game, but it is out within a month, and we will certainly have a review up once that happens as well. But let's talk about this game in preview stage. I have deliberately only played through the prologue, which is what I was allowed to cover during the preview, so that I was not tempted to talk about anything beyond that. So as a result, I only have an early sense of this game, but what I can say is that I absolutely love this game. This is going to be one of my favorite games, I think. Not just of the year, not just of the generation. This is going to be one of my favorite games of all. I am pretty sure. If it keeps up the quality of what it has introduced in just the prologue section, which is just the first couple of hours, 2 or 3 hours or so of play, if it can keep that standard going, this game is going to be something special. And I've always been a fan of Vanillaware. I really like Dragon's Crown and Odin's Sphere and Muramasa. I have been a fan of this developer for a long time. I think that this game may be their best. It's an interesting and eclectic blend of gameplay styles, and I will talk about that through this video, I guess. The first part is what you're seeing right here. This is the action sequences. Now, it looks a little bit abstract, and that's because it is, but what it basically is, at least at this stage, at this early stage, I don't know if it morphs into something later on, but it is a tower defense of sorts in which you need to protect a central point from attacking waves of enemies, and you do that by controlling a couple of different Sentinels, which are the big robots, and you direct them around the map, tell them what abilities to use, and the goal is to basically hold back the tide of invading enemies. It works a little bit like a tower defense game, but it's really engaging right from the outset. We don't see that many tower defense games actually anymore, but we never saw many of this kind of standard where the production quality just oozes through it, and it's just strategically engaging. All of your Sentinels have different abilities and different weapons they can use, and those abilities and weapons have different effects on the map. There's cooldowns to take into account. It's all action and quite fast-paced actually, so you'll need to think on the fly and think quite quickly, but it's rewarding. I've only played maybe 4 or 5 battles at this stage, and it's still the tutorial section, but I'm immediately involved in that combat system, and that's not even the best part of this game. The best part of this game is definitely the storytelling. This game tells an immediately engaging, intense story. So, as the title of the thing suggests, in 13 Sentinels, you actually play as quite a number of different characters, or you follow quite a number of different characters in their narrative arcs. And you would have seen at the very start of the clip a girl who is my favourite girl of all time already. I love her very much. She's one of the characters. This guy here is another character. There are through the prologue process you go through a lot of characters and get a sense of basically where they all stand, the relationship they have to one another, and then you're kind of let into the world to engage with these characters in what is basically like a kind of a point and click slash visual novel thing where you follow various stories along. There's not too much interactivity in these parts, but you learn words, and those keywords you use to push the narrative on further. There's not too much to it in terms of interactivity, like I said, but it's engaging because it's just so well written. There's nothing too lengthy about these story sequences. They move along at quite a nice pace, but what this game does really well is immediately build a sense of mystery about it. Because it jumps between quite a few different characters, and you really only get an introduction to each of the characters in this early stage, you're left wanting to know a lot more about them and their situation, because amongst other things, not just does this prologue section introduce the characters, it also introduces time travel and science fiction motifs, plus an apocalypse. And then you just need to start to try to piece together how all of these things work together, how the relationships of the characters will roll out, which characters know which characters, how they're related, whether it's antagonistic or whether it's kind of a romantic relationship that they're going for, why one is kind of back in time in the 80s, why another one seems to be in the future right at the edge of the apocalypse, who these aliens are that are attacking. There's this little robot that gets introduced. What's the little robot's role in all of this? And it's all just fascinating right from the start. I haven't been able to stop thinking about all of this and trying to piece it all together, and I feel like as the game goes along and the mysteries start to get the mysteries start to get explained, you're going to be left with some really poignant commentary. I think this game has a lot to say. I don't know what it has to say right now because it's just so early on, but there is this sense that this game is very artful. It seems like there's a lot of thought that has gone into the narrative. There's a lot of humor mixed in with more serious moments. There's a lot of nods to traditional Japan versus modernity versus the whole kind of cinema tradition. This game seems to have a great love of cinema. It's constantly name-dropping H.G. Wells and Godzilla from Japan. The kaiju tradition, it's constantly name-dropping all of these kinds of things. And again, you're just left thinking that this game really respects all of this material and wants to pull it together in a way that tells an interesting and evolving story. So I'm immediately intrigued by it all, and I can't talk too much about it, mostly because I just don't know myself, but I want to know more. It's not often that a video game leaves me wanting to push on and learn more about this. Usually video games, when they're done well, are engaging in the moment, that whatever you're experiencing at that point in time is really involving and you're really intensely into it and really enjoying it. But this game is really delaying that gratification at this point in time. It's promising something, but it hasn't delivered it yet. And that, I mean that in the best possible way. I know it's coming, and I just want to learn more about it. So on top of all of that, on top of this narrative, which is just, I wish I could talk more about it. It feels like a bit weird that I'm making this video because I can't talk about it at any depth, but I want to know more about the story. But on top of all of that, the game is gorgeous. Like, you can see that this art style is absolutely amazing. Vanillaware has always had a special talent with 2D sprites and 2D video games. Basically, all of their stuff has been that kind of 2D sprite-based work with the highest quality animation you can possibly imagine. This game really delivers on that, and part of the reason that all of these characters are so engaging immediately is they all look very distinctive. They all look very interesting. They're all characters that I want to learn more about because their style, their art style, really kind of points towards who they might be. And the game has a great sense of humor as well. This character in particular, her love of science fiction movies leads her to come up with all kinds of crazy ideas about what's going on. Some of it may well come true. It seems like some of it will come true as we go along. But she is immediately an engaging character because she's quite funny. There was the character at the very start of the video, as you saw. She's a bit of a cutie, and we got to see a minor upskirt, a bit of fan service in there. There's a bit of fan service with this character as well. She's in her gym clothes, but it's not titillating as such. It's not there to be a fan service game. It's all there in service of this vibrant art style and aesthetic that is really designed to build characters very quickly using the visual style, and then use them to emphasize what's going on with the plot. The backgrounds are gorgeous. Everything about this game is just absolutely gorgeous, and it's pulling me along by the nose right now. I don't know if there are puzzles later on. The combat stuff is very simple because I'm still in the tutorial stage, but I imagine it's going to get to the point where it's a bit more challenging as well, which will be great. I will want, I think, the combat to get a little bit more difficult in order just to keep me engaged with it on that video game level. But yeah, everything about this game is absolutely amazing. So that's enough for this video. I can't be any more breathlessly excited to talk about more later on down the track. Look forward to my review, of course. I will go in depth with this one, I imagine. Otherwise, please do click that like and subscribe button so that you get any future videos I do on this game right when I do them. And please do consider backing me on Patreon, because that support really helps me to grow the channel. Otherwise, stick around for the stream later on today if you'd like. Have a great weekend if not. I hope you play some great games, and I hope you're looking forward to this one, because this game is, once again, going to be something special. I really think that this is a highlight of the year. So thanks as always for watching, and we will see you next time.